Hey, how's it going, everyone? Today is Monday, day after Sunday. so, it's a day, So, yesterday was we had a slate, had a few games on it. Some games didn't go the way we thought it would, so be it. Today, like I said, today is a new day. We had some pretty decent performances yesterday. I'll go through my lineups of what I played yesterday and things like that. What you're looking at right now is my Fanduel group. We're over 6,000 members in this group. We help each other all the time. As you can see our cover photo. Name of it is Fanduel Group. We do cover way more, all sites. You got Hot Roster, DraftKings. We do Fantasy Draft, Yahoo. We do some of everything in there. So, you can search for it. You'll catch me lingering in. Yeah, you can find me in the group, lingering around and offering advice. So there's a lot of advice and things that goes on. Great discussions. A lot of great minds at all different types of sports. Some sports you'll see some guys, some of the same guys. Maybe when baseball time comes around, you'll see a whole bunch of other different guys, and things like that. Football season is over, so we got a lot of people transitioning to basketball. Some people are just putting their bankroll up for another sport. So there you have it. Couple. I can go through a couple posts in the group before I get into things. Rashad Johnson, he says he had a pretty decent night, and there you have it. I don't know what the score was on that, but he looked like he did a very good job with that lineup. We got Jake Harris, like nothing. Sometimes we get those times, Jake. It's nothing like being in the midst of a 2-month cold streak. Whoa, that's a long time. But he plays a lot of GPPs as well. Gusto, we got Gusto here with a nice lineup going into today. He has a nice amount of players. Let me see how many guys. He has a few guys left. This looks like it's the overnight slate. I hope you go ahead and take it down. He's in for a great sweat today. Somebody asking for was there a score higher than 378 in FanDuel basketball? I'm assuming he scored about 378. Tim Parker, someone who's been on fire lately. Big ups to him. He has a 340 and a 375, and he's winning. Actually, he won. He came back with over $1,000 off his entries. So big ups to him, man. There's Tim again with the humor in the group. See, there's a DraftKings line right there. So, we're doing, that's David Yoder. So, we're doing, pretty much a lot of different sports and different sites in the group. So, I can scroll down a little bit more. There's a little humor there, a little advice there from Ronnie Kanash, a little humor and from the Pro Bowl last night, and so on and so forth. David Knott, he said, "Well, I almost took that one. It was a big one. Good job on David on that one." So some very high scores coming in. Some lower scores, some results, some discussions, and things like that. And then we have articles floating around. And everything, a lot of good information, coming out of the group. I'll move on over. I wonder if I can show you guys, give you guys a glimpse of my Facebook First Down Podcast page. If you're wondering, where the links of these, this is my First Down Podcast page right here. This is a place where I post my lineups and I distribute them. Into some of the groups. There's my buddy Ming Lee. His Twitter is down in the description as well. My recent posts. This was yesterday. This was my early only DraftKings. It cashed. That was a 3 or 4 overtimes. I might get into that. Here's where I posted a couple lineups, and then I'll take my lineups and then I'll distribute them throughout my groups, and some of my podcasts can be, all my podcasts can be found here, and I distribute them through my groups, and a little humor here I post up, so you can like that page, like my page, things like that. My Twitter, I post my lineups here to my Facebook pages and then to my Twitter, so that's there you have it. Moving over to today, we can talk about we can do a quick recap on last night's games and things like that. Quick recap on my lineups. Fanduel, somewhere where I just play a GPP a night. I don't sweat it too much over here. I just play, a line and just be done with it. I mainly play on DraftKings a lot. I love Fanduel. This is my first love. That's why, I come over here. I scored a 323. I had Sean Livingston. He busted. Damian Lillard, I thought he'd do better. Bradley Beal, I felt like he's going to have a good night. Klay Thompson, he was self-explanatory. CJ Miles, he busted. Quite sure he busted a lot of folks. I'm not mad at him. Paul George, pretty high owned. Everybody felt like he was going to have a good game, and he produced. Ersan Ilyasova coming in against my Bulls at 10% owners, 44 points. That upside on that salary was great. Anthony Davis, somebody who I don't mind rostering. I rostered him in a good matchup. He made it do what it did. He provided upside on that tag, and Robin Lopez went like 10 times, as well. So that was good upside on a lot of those folks. They helped make up for C.J. Miles and Sean Livingston. Moving over to DraftKings, it's my history. First look at, here's some results. It's a result from a late night. I jumped into a late night, didn't cash on my late night anywhere, but I can show you my lineup. I had Damian Lillard, Dwayne Wade, Kevin Durant, Aminu, Mason Plumlee, Klay Thompson, Bobby Portis, and Sean Livingston. I did not cash. I just threw a few bucks into the late night, and it is what it is. Moving over to my, let me see. Moving over, I showed you guys my early only. I can show it to you if you weren't paying attention. But, if you had a lot of Knicks players and things like that, I guess you probably cashed. This one cashed for round minimum at $10. Just threw a dart in a 2-game slate, nothing major. Dennis Schroeder, Oladipo, Carmelo Anthony, Paul Millsap, someone who I said I loved in early yesterday podcast. If you guys caught that, I liked Dwight Howard too, man. I wish I would have took Tristan Thompson, who had a great game. It went for like 50 fantasy points or something like that, and maybe I could have upgraded Sabonis, even though Sabonis, he did well, and he played well. I watched that game. And going over to moving over to my main lineup, it cashed everywhere as well. I had a couple hiccups. But it definitely cashed. Let's see. If this will stop, where are they? All right, there we go. Okay, so yeah, it pretty much cashed everywhere except for here. Cashing triple ups and a couple of the booster. I missed the booster, missed the Quinn, but overall it was profitable. I got my money back in a few. So that was great. Looking at the lineup, I had Damian Lillard once again. Didn't do what I thought he was going to do. I could have. I was looking for more out of him. I went back to Bill, C.J. Miles, Paul George. C.J. Miles murdered me on both sides. You see, my lineup is somewhat kind of similar to that I played on Fanduel. Hold on. Yeah. He does. Yeah, so, Robin Lopez, DeMar DeRozan, Dirk Nowitzki. DeMar DeRozan, somebody who announced that they just announced he was going to play. I knew I was going to get him at lower ownership, hoping he'd go ballistic. Some more people was on him. That just shows you a lot about how many people pay attention to injury news and things like that. Dirk Nowitzki, he was 5K yesterday. Somebody who I just felt like I couldn't pass. Good thing I took him. He gave me 37 fantasy points. Mason Plumlee, someone who I liked and has been playing well. And he had a pretty nice game. I just don't like the rotations, and sometimes when they play Golden State, I feel like Plumlee could have played more minutes than that yesterday. With that being said, let's get off into this new slate today. A slate that I'm not a big fan of. So let's get into it. I'll probably play light. I don't know. Barring any news coming out. This slate here is pretty straightforward, man. We got 5 games. 5 games. I don't really, what I'm saying. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of the slate, so I'm just gonna point out a few guys, a few players. But keep in mind, like when you're not a big fan of a slate, you can always look to tomorrow and weigh your options. You can look to tomorrow, see what games are what type of games are coming up, or you can look towards the day after tomorrow. Try to stay ahead of the game. That way, you want you might want to put a certain amount of your book, your bankroll into this slate, and you got something, a few games on the next slate that you might like a little better. So that's something to always be on top of. That's something always to be on top of. So with that being said, I'm just going to point out a few players, some matchups, that, I don't mind exploiting. I'm going to go through the player pools. I'm not going to go through everybody like I always do. But this Brooklyn and Miami game, these teams just played recently. So with that being said, injury, you got to keep an eye out on Tyler Johnson. There's a possibility he can pop up playing any day. Brooklyn, they're a fast-paced team. So, on the Miami side of things, keep an eye out for Tyler Johnson. He's been he's getting close to coming back. So he could probably cut into minutes with Dion Waiters and Ellington and Goran Dragic. They've been logging a ton of minutes, and so be it. So Hassan Whiteside, his price is going down. It's a big discrepancy over here. So you get him at 7,500 on DraftKings, and on Fanduel you'll get him at 8,900. If you decide to roster Hassan Whiteside, you can get him at a discount on DraftKings. He doesn't have to hit too much to hit value. He's a GPP play. He's been disappointing here and there. We know what his upside is. If he can snap out of it, it is what it is. He's probably dealing with an injury. I'm a risk taker. If you go ahead and plug him, I don't mind. Dion Waiters, you'll get him on DraftKings for $7K, but on FanDuel you get him for $6,300. So just so you know that. James Johnson is someone who's on my radar as far as power forward. They're looking kind of rough today at the power forward position. He's been consistent, 5,800 on DraftKings, and on FanDuel he is $6K. So he's right around the same price. Going up against this team, tons of there's value here. Tyler Johnson, like I said, keep an eye out on him. Wayne Ellington, I like to play, and another interesting play, and somebody to look out for. This guy, he's steady signing 10-day contracts. Okaro Wright. Keep an eye on him. If you can go back and watch the tape and see how he gets down on the court, I highly suggest you could do that. But Goran Dragic, he's a good play. On the Brooklyn side of things, big time value players over here. Brook Lopez is as good as he's been playing. He still is coming in at a value. He's been smashing it lately. You see what he did against Miami. Smashed it then. I don't see why he could be a bad play. I'm so mad that I missed this train. I'm just so much. I've always been a Brook Lopez fan, man, especially for fantasy purposes, man. And I'm so highly upset that I've missed this train. And it's not too late for me to hop on it, man. It definitely isn't. I just feel like this is a tricky slate. So Jeremy Lin, he's listed as out. Keep an eye on Hollis Jefferson. Harris is out. So, Hollis Jefferson can open up things for, add more minutes to the pot for Kilpatrick, Bogdanovich, and LeVert. LeVert is a guy that they like, and, a play that I don't mind. They really like him. Doesn't need much to hit value. It's coming in at 4K on FanDuel, on DraftKings, and on FanDuel, he's priced around 4,400. So, and then you got Brook Lopez. I didn't give you his discrepancy, but he's 7,500 on FanDuel, and he's 65 on DraftKings. So that's a whole 1,000. But in the condensed slate like this, can't rule anything out. Like I always say, tons of value over here. Denwindle and Isaiah Whitehead, they split the point guard roles, and you can find that value there at a low cost as well. Moving over to the Detroit and Boston game, looking at the Boston side of things, Isaiah Thomas, he's been crushing it lately. He's coming in at 9,400, and on FanDuel he's 10K. Keep an eye out on Horford's situation, Bradley's situation as far as injuries. But, as far as spots go, Isaiah Thomas is in a great spot. I'm not a big fan of Reggie Jackson's defense, so he's in a great spot. Jay Crowder, someone who's been smashing it, man, lately, and very good for cash, very good cash play, and he's been showing some upside on his price tag. So upside is what you want, upside is what you need. He's been showing it. They have Marcus Smart. I played him a few games ago. His production, it seems like his production is at a halt, and while Crowder is being more aggressive. Olynyk, he's been seeing more minutes. He's an athletic guy. Last two games he's did well in the increase of his minutes. He had a 36-minute game against Milwaukee because of his athleticism, and he can put fancy points up in a hurry. Amir Johnson, Jaylen Brown is somebody who has he's been logging in minutes. I don't mind the play, but like I said, keep an eye on the injury situations over here in Boston, because a lot of usage will be spread around to different players as that team gets healthy. And looking at the Detroit side of things, I think Andre Drummond is just in a really good spot at 7,700. On FanDuel, he's priced at 8K, 300 difference, but I think he's in a really good spot. So keeping an eye out for the injury updates to Horford. Horford probably can't bring him out of the paint, but he's still in a great spot. He just absolutely smashed it last game. He's been doing it against some pretty good centers. Miami, Whiteside. Whiteside has been getting dusted off lately. Sacramento, he hit value, and against Boogie and the crew. Washington didn't do so well against the White. Did pretty good. Lakers, he did pretty good. But we all know Drummond has big time upside on that 7,700 price tag. Tobias Harris, he's been coming off the bench for the likes of John Lure. John Lure, somebody who I don't play and often. I probably played him a few times this year, and someone who can hit value. Going against this Boston team that they've been rolling out a couple taller guys as of late, so I don't mind the play at a low price. Reggie Jackson, I love his matchup. He's looking like he will draw. It looks like he will draw. Good God, what is the guy's name? Isaiah Thomas. I'm so forgetful. Looks like he will draw Isaiah Thomas no matter what. As I was breaking down some of the matchups, it's probably looking like he'll draw him no matter what. They start Caldwell Pope at the 2, so I don't see any reason for Isaiah Thomas to be guarding Pope. So he's got a really good matchup. He's got a really good matchup against Isaiah Thomas, and I do not mind that tag. The price tag is at 6,300 on DraftKings, and FanDuel is around the same at 6,600. He provides upside on that price tag, and he's been very consistent as of late. Someone you can consider. I definitely like to play. Caldwell Pope, 5,500 on DraftKings, 5,400 on Fanduel. He had a bad game last time out. I'm not gonna let that. His first game, he came back at 34 fantasy points. Next game against Miami, he had a bad game. I probably won't let that get me off of him. Am I on him? I don't know, but the minutes are there, and I like that more than anything. His first game back, he jumped right into 37 minutes, and then come back with 34 minutes. So minutes equal opportunity, and that's something that I like. This is a team. They starting lineup. They log a ton of minutes. Tobias Harris, somebody who I haven't played in quite a while. He can provide upside on the tag up in the 40 point fantasy range, but he hasn't been doing it lately. And you have your Marcus Morris. He's been mid-tier as of late. He was on the tear a few games ago. It seems as though he cooled down. He'll probably be matched up against Crowder. So there you have it. Moving over to the Orlando-Minnesota game. Looking at the Minnesota side of things, Elfrid Payton, he can be so up and down, iffy. It's hard to trust him in cash. Therefore, and that makes him, one of the good GPP plays. He's coming in at 7K. 6,700 on DraftKings, and on FanDuel he's 6,600. He has upside, 50-point upside on any given night. He has a nice matchup against Rubio. I like the matchup if he decides to be aggressive offensively. Nikola Vucevic, someone who I don't mind, who I never really mind. I'm just wishing, he was actually, and I was watching this game yesterday, he was on fire yesterday from 3-point. He went 3 for 4, stretching the floor, took 17 shots, 5 assists, 4 blocks, 1 steal. So he had 25 points. He was very active, and he smashed that price tag, and he's still sitting at the same price tag at 6,400. And on FanDuel, he's sitting at 6,600. So someone who I prefer. I don't like the coaching decisions over there with the minutes. So I just feel like he should be getting at least 30 to 35 minutes a game. He's just that type of player. There's no reason for his minutes to be fluctuating like this, in my opinion. 33, 23, 33, 24. It's I just don't like the decisions that are being made over there. But you have to pick and choose when you think it's going to be beneficial to him. Ibaka, somebody who I've been off. He'll probably have the likes of Garden Towns. He's got a tough matchup. He's a GPP option to me. Keep an eye out on Evan Fournier. Aaron Gordon, someone who logs a ton of minutes. He'd most likely be guarding Wiggins today. And Wiggins will probably have to guard him. So, he makes for an interesting play, Aaron Gordon. Bismack Biyombo, someone who's a GPP option. What you see is what you get with Biyombo. Minutes up and down. It's just a messy situation at center here. C.J. Watson. You got to keep an eye out on the injury situation. Jeff Green, he is someone who's been playing the 2, 3, and the 4 as of lately. He's been playing well, man. His price is still down. I should have just stayed on him. Yesterday I was on him instead of C.J. Miles. They're playing the same position. He has length. I just should have stayed with him, man. I felt like his length was going to be needed against the Toronto Raptors, and If you can, if you know wrong from right when it comes to basketball, so you better off doing the right thing. TJ Miles, he was just, you know, shoot, and at least Jeff Green can get you something in the peripheral category as far, he gave you 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, So and then he put on 16 points, and he was cheaper. So, it is what it is, but he can provide some value, So and he's getting in the flow of things as well. DJ Augustine is someone who played well yesterday and can play well given the minutes. Barring all the injury situations, those are some pivots that you can pivot to on the team. As far as on the Minnesota side of things, first thing I want to say about them, you got your starting 5 lineup. Starting 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These guys log a ton of minutes. You find a good matchup, and then you exploit it. Wiggins, it looks like Aaron Gordon will be looking to try to make things tough for Wiggins. That'll be a matchup to pay attention to from a basketball fan standpoint. Ricky Rubio, Ricky Rubio, he can get his stuff. He can get his money in a lot of different ways. So he's somebody that you can consider. He's pricey though at 7,100. This is a condensed slate. I wouldn't be surprised if anything happened on the slate. He's 6,600 on Fanduel, so I don't know if I'd be looking to roster Rubio. I don't know. It could be happen. I mean, it could be a good thing. You can pair him with Towns. I don't know if I'll be rostering Towns. Towns is a great player. He's probably a good pick in cash. I might be looking to fade him in GPP. But like I said, I'm probably going to be going light. He's got a pretty nice matchup. He's been smashing it. He's coming in at almost 11K at 10.8, and then he's 10.9 on FanDuel. He's just been a monster, man. Zach LaVine. If Orlando decides to run out of a starting lineup of that starting lineup that they've been running, if I'll say it like this, if C.J. Watson starts, I'm just put it like this. I like Zach LaVine. If C.J. Watson starts, Fournier happens to come back, then I really love him. Because they Orlando, they drop down Jeff Green to the 2-guard position. They drop him down to the 2-guard position. That means sometimes he'll be matched up with LaVine, and I don't know how that fare, but he does have a great matchup. So that's a matchup that I like to exploit. Gorgie Jean plays a lot of the center position. Someone who I don't mind. He's been getting back to his old self lately. 5,700 on FanDuel. He's priced at 5,800, so he's around the same. Somebody who I don't mind. So I don't mind if you want to get a piece of this game for cheap. Moving over to the next game. Looking at Cleveland and Dallas. We got Love down. LeBron in play. Kyrie in play. Great matchup for Kyrie. Tristan Thompson. I like Tristan Thompson as well. Good matchup. Salary saver, 4,600. Slow-paced game is what Dallas tries to roll out, and I like that suiting for a big man, where they can grab rebounds and, slow the game down, get blocks and things like that. Cal Quilver, GPP, Shumper, GPP, Shannon Fry. He'll be part of the chalkboard today. Quite sure his ownership will be up there. Do you play him or do you fade him? That's what you need to figure out. Do you play him or do you fade him? Depends on what you're trying to do, what type of roster construction you're trying to build, what part of the field are you trying to get past, or whatever. He'll probably more than likely he'll be high on, coming in at a cheap price like that. So moving over to the other side of things, I actually don't mind Harrison Barnes coming in at 6,300. Darren Williams, he'll be out. Barrera, he'll be out. Andrew Bogut is questionable. I think he's more doubtful, but he's questionable, so keep an eye out on that. Value over here, Dwight Powell. I just don't know why they don't give the man the minutes when it's time for him to get the minutes. So it is what it is. Yogi Ferrell, a chalky value play that a lot of people will be on. Yesterday he played 36 minutes, 3 of 9 from the field. He made a 3, 2 rebounds, 7 assists, a steal, a couple steals, but he ended up producing 26 fantasy points at 3,500. So there you have it. Finney Smith, they might need him defensively, so watch out. But like I said, keep him out. Keep an eye out for some injury news. Sometimes he does produce, So, keeping an eye out on the starting lineup. He could be in play. He played 41 minutes against OKC, got 30 fantasy points. Not a big fan of the defense over there in Cleveland. So, anything can happen. Wesley Matthews, somebody who's going to log a ton of minutes. We already know that. He's at 4,500. I don't mind the play. Minutes equal opportunity. 31, 39, 37, 30, whatever, and so on and so forth. So minutes equal opportunity, someone who I don't mind. Curry coming in at 5,300. And keep in mind, you get Wesley Matthews at 4,500 on DraftKings, and you get him at 5,400 on Fanduel. So, as far as Steph Curry, you get him at 5,300 on DraftKings, and then on Fanduel you get him at 4,300. So, someone who actually, he's been playing a ton of minutes as well. I'm quite sure he'll get a ton of minutes tonight. He did excellent yesterday, man. I had him in my lineup and I took him out. He did excellent yesterday. He ran me off of that 5,200 price tag. It is what it is. But he gets the minutes. He gets Kyrie Irving. I'm not too scared of that defense, and I don't mind the play, man. Kyrie Irving, I'm not a big fan of his defense. Dirk Nowitzki, it's going to be a back-to-back for him, first of all. He played 28 minutes yesterday. He went 5 for 11. I rostered him. He got a double-double and 10 rebounds and 15 points. That was awesome. And he had 4 blocks. Look at that. Game before that, he had 3 blocks. So Dirk has been playing dirty down low. He's been getting blocked. So, 5,100. His price only went up 100 from yesterday. Hey, you get Dirk Nowitzki at 5,100, you got to give you about 25 points, man. You might see one of those all-time one of those old school throwback dirt games, man. I don't mind to play, man. It is what it is. And moving over to the last game of the night, your hammer game. You got Memphis and Phoenix. Oh man. Looking at this game. First thing I can say is Phoenix will be at home. They'll try to keep the pace up. So that's one thing we all know. Here's your main three, your big three right here. Eric Bledsoe, Devin Booker, and Tyson Chandler. Tyson Chandler is someone who I don't mind as far as from a rebounder standpoint. He any given day he can give you 15 to 15. And he can cover that price tag. His last few games, he's been awesome. Outside of this Denver game, he's been crushing it. That's how we got to 6K. A veteran just knows what he's doing around the paint. Eric Bledsoe, the price tag is up there on Eric Bledsoe on Fanduel and DraftKings. He's coming in at 9,600 on Fanduel and 9K on DraftKings. Somebody who I probably would take the under on. I probably wouldn't even. Somebody who I'm probably not on for this game. Looks like he got to give you at least 45. So be it. Devin Booker, another person who I probably won't be on, but anything can happen between these guys. Memphis will try to take them out of their element, out of their pace. So they'll like to try to slow the game down. Warren, cheap option. Tucker, cheap option. Warren can, he can score. Sometimes they might need him to score. They're GPP options. So Brandon Knight, Alex Lynn, everybody else. That's just cheaper GPP options, and that you can probably consider, plugging in on the late night. To help you get an edge over someone or over the field, to duck some of the chalky value plays, that's going around. On the Memphis side of things, keep an eye out on the injury situation with Jermichael Green. Chandler Parsons will probably be playing tonight. He's been playing like every other game. This guy Daniels looked like he signed another 10-game contract. Let me see. I might have that wrong, but anyway, somebody to help bag up Mike Conley. Oh yeah. Then you got let me go down here. Brandon White. He's questionable. He hasn't played this season yet. So he said he feels like, if you read down here, it says right. It's slated to make his NBA debut during Monday's game against the Suns. So, Brandon White. I don't know if you all know about Brandon White. Don't know how many minutes he'll be logging in his first game back, but it's just something to note that he's on his way back. He'll probably be active tonight. Marcus All. He's been tearing it up, man. He's like, he's for sure to get you some production. Only thing is he's 7,800 on DraftKings and he's 9K on FanDuel, so you get him cheaper, 1,200 cheaper on DraftKings. The minutes are there from. He's been healthy. That's a great thing for this team. He's going upwards of 30 minutes, close to 40 minutes, and being assertive. Peripherals are there, blocks, points. someone who just knows how to play basketball, man, and he's just been a phenomenal. He's just been playing phenomenal, man. I definitely don't mind the play, especially on a slate like this. Mike Conley, someone you can pivot to. He's coming in at 7K. I'm not a fan of the defense over there, and I'm not a fan of the defense of Bledsoe's defense. So, Mike Conley can be a very interesting play on the road. Keep in mind a hammer point guard. In the late night hammer game, I really like Mike Conley. And then you got Tony Allen. He'll probably be guarding. He'll probably be guarding Booker. So Michael Green, like I said, keep an eye out on him. And then GPP options for the rest of the squad. So a condensed slate. If you like it, roll it. Or if you don't like it, you could probably play light or whatever. Get through it. I'll be brewing through the day with my feelings towards this slate, depending on how I want to play it and approach it. But be smart and be responsible, man. Real quick, I'll go through a few plays. I like starting off at this Brooklyn and Miami game. My favorite plays right now. I'm gonna just go to the Miami side. Brooklyn is just basically all value team. There's a lot of value over here too. In Miami, I like Ellington if he, especially if Tyler Johnson is out, and moving on up. James Johnson, I like me some James Johnson. And Goran Dragic leading the show. I love him Whiteside for some GPPs. I'm just a risk taker, I know. On the Brooklyn side, Brook Lopez has been pretty consistent. The rest of these guys are GPP options, or they won't be low on though, because especially keeping up with injury news and notes with Hollis Jefferson. That'll really highlight LeVert and Kilpatrick and things like that. Moving over to Detroit and Boston, as of right now, without injury news, I definitely like Isaiah Thomas, Drummond, Crowder, and Reggie Jackson. There's some pieces. I don't mind Caldwell Pope either. There's some pieces to to look at. My favorite plays from this Orlando game. Believe it or not, I like Zach LaVine. And sneaky play, Jeff Green. Sneaky play. Just got to keep up with the injuries. I really like Jeff Green if Fournier is out. Just a couple different plays. Not the obvious. And here from Cleveland side of things, let me point out. Shannon Fry is going to be a chalky play. Kyle Korver is a GPP option for the jump shot. He might get an uptick in minutes for his jump shot ability. Keep an eye on Kyle Korver today. It's probably going to be a slow-paced game, but my favorite play from this one is from this side of the ball is Kyrie Irving, without a doubt. LeBron James is self-explanatory, guys. He's in play. He's just LeBron James. So, on the Dallas side of things, hey, Dirk Nowitzki, I like the play, man. I ain't gonna lie. I like the play. 20, even if he give me 25, man, he hits value. If he hits value, man, hey, that's what I need. I know he has upside on that tag. And last game of the night, on the Memphis side of things, I didn't talk about Zach Randolph. Zach Randolph has been a monster. My fault, Zach. I didn't even get to talk about you, man. If my computer would let me click. Okay, now. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so he's been smashing it, man. I mean, he's been absolutely smashing it. I wouldn't mind pairing him up with God damn it. I wouldn't mind pairing him up with Mike Conley for the late night show. Phoenix has been getting murdered from a power forward standpoint. It makes perfect sense, if you ask me. You pair those two guys up on the road. Phoenix will try to up the pace of the game, and Zach Randolph, he just knows how to play basketball, man. So, I probably wouldn't overthink it. He's 5,800 on DraftKings, and on Fanduel he is 6,400. So, kind of ugly slate for the power forwards and things, but he'll probably be chalky. But hey, you can probably in GPPs you can find low on players in other spots. So with that being said, that wraps it up for today. I want to thank all my viewers and everybody who's been viewing the videos. What I have to say, man. My closing statements. If you playing DFS and it's you playing it to whereas you it's hurting you financially. You got to find a way to do it better. Scale back. You can always do that. You don't want this getting into in between the bills and your personal life and things like that. It's just, unfortunate. If you find yourself, this is a life or death situation. If you have to win, then you probably need to be doing something else. Take it easy, guys. Take it easy, man. Take it one step at a time. And with that being said, I'm out.